All right, so for this video, we're going to talk about solving one-step equations, all right? So the first thing I'm going to do with each of these equations, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite them. So for this first one, this is x plus 7 equals -1. Now, if you take a look at all 6 of these questions, all of these are one-step problems using adding and subtracting, okay? So when we undo it, when we solve it, we're either going to have to add or subtract. Now, for this first one, to solve this, we would simply subtract 7 from both sides, or we could say we're going to add -7 to both sides. Now, when we do that, the 7's cross out, and then you're left with x equals. Now all we need to do is combine the -1 and the -7, which makes -8. And that'll be our final answer. Let's take a look at number 2. I'm going to rewrite it first. So m minus 11 equals -9. Now, one thing I do tend to do, I like to draw a line down the middle, and I didn't do that in the first problem. But if you do that, you can easily, I see that there's a left side, which says m minus 11, and then there's a right side, which says -9. Now, whenever you're solving problems, you want to get the variable by itself. So I want to stay focused on this side of the problem. The 11 is negative. I know it's negative because it has a minus sign in front of it. So since it's negative, if I want to undo it, I have to add a positive, and I want to make it positive 11. So I have to add positive 11 to both sides. By doing that, I get rid of the 11s, and then I'm just left with m equals. That's a -9 and a positive 11. When the signs are different, you subtract. 11 minus 9 is 2. And since the 11 is larger, the final answer is going to remain positive. Oops, didn't mean to use that. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Once again, I'm going to start by rewriting it. 9 equals 14 plus h. Go ahead and draw my line because I know I have 2 sides. Now, the side that we need to focus on is the side with the variable, is the right side. On that side with the variable, there's a positive 14 right here. So because that 14 is positive, to undo it, we're going to need to subtract 14 or add -14 to both sides. By adding -14, that gets rid of that 14. And then we're just left with h equals. Now, when we take a look at this side here, there's a -14 and then there's a positive 9. The signs are different, so we go ahead and subtract again. And if you need to, you can always put a plus sign right here in front of the 9, okay? But once again, the signs are different, so we subtract. 14 minus 9 is 5. Now, this time, the 14 is the bigger number and it's negatives, which means that the 5 has to be negative. So that would make -5, okay? Oops, let me put that 14 right there. There we go. All right, number 4. Once again, I'm just going to start off by rewriting it. Then I'm going to draw my line down the middle of my equal sign. There's 2 sides. I want to start on the right side because the right side is, on the left side. I want to start on the left side because that's where the variable is. Now, if you notice, there's a -15 with that W. So what I want to do is get rid of that -15 by adding a positive 15. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. When we add the 15s cancel out. That leaves us with W. And then W will be equal to 14 plus 15, which is 29. Positive 29. Okay? Let's take a look at these last 2. Number 5 reads -21 equals K minus 8. Once again, I want to start off by drawing a line down the middle of the equal sign. And I want to start on the right side because that's where the variable is. Now, there's a -8 over here. So because that 8 is negative, if I want to undo it, I have to add +8 to both sides. Now, by doing that, that gets rid of the 8's, and we're left with k equals. Now I have a negative 21 and a positive 8. Because the signs are different, we subtract. 21 minus 8 is 13. But what's the bigger number, the 21 or the 8? If you answered 21, you're correct, which means that our 13 needs to be negative. Okay. Number 6, our last problem for this for these examples, says negative 1 equals negative 4 plus v. All right. So once again, we're going to draw a line down the middle. Then we're going to look at the right side. The right side is where the variable is. There's a negative 4 over there, so we want to add 4 to both sides. By adding 4, that gets rid of that. And now we're just combining negative 1 and positive 4. They're different signs. So what do we do again? We subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3. And the larger number here is positive, so our answer is going to remain positive 3. All right, that'll conclude this video.